Okay. I also set the session in the record mode. So whenever you are taking any points, first start with the date because in accounting, date plays a major role, and that too when it comes to shares and debentures, the issue date is also very important. So date is very 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 important whether you're going to learn theoretical concept or practical concept, whatever it might be. So what is today's date? Very good. Can you able to understand my handwriting? Okay. So under this accounting for share capital concept, first let us understand what is share. Okay, what do you mean by share and share capital? Okay, you should be in a position to understand the meaning of share and share capital. Basically, share is nothing but a fraction or a portion, okay, of a particular item. So here in share capital, we denote the capital of the company is being divided or it is being shared among various public, and that's why we call it as a share capital. So in basic terms, if you see, share is nothing but it is a part or a portion or a fraction of a particular item. Okay. So share is nothing but a part or a fraction of share capital. What do you mean by the term capital in general? What do you mean by the term? Yeah. Okay, it comes under liability heads, but in general it is nothing but the amount invested in the business by the proprietor. Am I right? Okay, it is the amount invested by the owner, we can say in other words. Okay, amount invested by the owner in the business. Okay, you'd have learned the different forms of business organization in your 11th standard. Am I right? You'd have come across the three important forms of business organization. What are they? In your 11th standard, under the topic of business studies, okay, there's a heading called forms of business organization. So, what are those business organizations? Okay, uh huh. Then government, then okay, but it is not the government organization or non-government organization. It is the forms of business organization are sole proprietorship. Have you come across sole proprietorship? Okay. Then partnership and joint stock companies. Apart from this, you have other forms like Hindu undivided family business, and you have it something called as a cooperative societies, all such things. But these three are the profit oriented or money minting business organizations. So where in each of these segment the profit is the most important aspect. Earning profit is the objective of the business. Okay. In sole proprietorship, the capital, because every business requires capital. In sole proprietorship, We call that capital as X is capital or Y is capital depending upon the person, whomsoever it is. Only one person means, or Ram is a person who has started the business, it will be Ram's capital. Whereas in partnership, we may have more than two-person and maximum limit is 50. So minimum two-person is required to start your partnership and maximum you require 50 people. But all people need not contribute the capital. One or two can also contribute the capital, remaining can be a working partner. But of course, even in partnership, capital is required to run the business. And here we will initially term the capital as partners capital. You will have the heading as partners capital. Under this partners capital only, you will denote who are all the partners. For example, if there are three partners X, Y, and Z, in this X and Y alone have contributed capital means then you will mention it is X's capital and it is Y's capital. Am I making sense to you? Okay, you will call this as X's capital and you will call them as Y's capital. Whereas when you come to the third segment, joint stock companies, even joint stock companies needs capital to run the show. But in this, you will not call capital as generally capital or excess capital or partners capital. You will denote those capital in the name of share capital. Okay, you will call it as share capital because the capital of the business has been shared among the public by the local public and it is more than 2 or more than 50 people. In sole proprietorship, it is a one man army or one man who has contributed the entire capital required for the business. In partnership, you have the partners contributing the capital, whereby you have the minimum and the maximum limits. Minimum is 2, maximum is 50. With respect to partnership, you have the limit minimum is 2 and the maximum limit comes to 50, not beyond this. But in companies, it crosses beyond 50 also. It goes above 50 also. It depends upon the number of shares the company is coming forward for the issue. So, in order to break down the negativity or the limitations what you have in partnership, you have got the joint stock companies. So, in order to break out the negativity or the demerits or limitations of sole proprietorship, you have got partnership. So each and every forms of business organization has some significance for their existence. So sole proprietorshipல இருக்கிற drawbacks break பண்றதுக்காக you have partnership. Partnershipல இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த drawbacks break பண்றதுக்காக you have got joint stock companies. Of course, there is nothing beyond joint stock companies. Joint stock companies is the end of all. We can say it is the ultimate or it is the highest level in the forms of business organization. Okay, where you can go anything beyond companies. So here we have the term as share capital, and share means it's nothing but a fraction or a portion of the capital, and since it is shared by many people, you will be calling it as share capital. Any doubt up to these terms? Okay. Now you have understood what is share and what is share capital. Let me go and make you understand some other terms which you come across in this topic. You'll come across a person called as shareholder. So who is a shareholder? One who holds shares of a company is called shareholder. If I am holding 100 shares of a company called Tata Motors, then I am the shareholder of Tata Motors, first of all, and I have the voting rights or I am eligible for those 100 shares. I'll be getting my returns for those 100 shares what I have got in that particular company. So shareholder is nothing but an individual. Okay, so we can say he is an individual. He is an individual. Okay, so one who holds shares of a company is called shareholder. Is it clear to you? Okay. So what does this shareholder get in return? ஷேர்ஹோல்டர்ஸுக்கு வாட் இஸ் தேர் ரிட்டர்ன்? இப்போ என்கிட்ட ஒரு 1 lakh rupees இருக்கு. யூ ஆல்சோ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் தமிழ் ரைட்? ஓகே. இப்போ என்கிட்ட ஒரு 1 lakh rupees இருக்கு. ஓகே. ஐ ஹாவ் டூ ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் இன் ஃப்ரண்ட் ஆஃப் மீ. தெர் இஸ் அ nationalized bank or a private bank where I have a safety for the money what I am going to deposit. ஸோ 1 லட்ச ரூபாய் நான் கொண்டு போய் பேங்க்கில் போடுறேன். ஃபிக்ஸட் டெபாசிட்ங்கிற ஸ்கீமில் எனக்கு பேங்க் ப்ராமிஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க யூ வில் பி கெட்டிங் அ ஓகே இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் 8% or 9% per annum. Okay, so அப்போ monthly I'll be getting some amount as interest, which is a predefined one, and it is sure and definitely I'll receive it. There is one more option. There is a company, X company, where the company is coming for the issue of shares, and the company at the time of the issue promising all those depositors, the investors, stating that the returns will give 25%. பேங்க் என்ன சொல்கிறான் 8% 9% கொடுக்குறேன் அப்படிங்கிறான். 1 lakh rupees எவ்வளோ ரூபா நீங்கள் போடுறீங்களோ அந்த போடுற அமௌண்ட்டுக்கு திஸ் இஸ் வாட் த ரிட்டர்ன் ஐ கேன் கிவ். பட் கம்பெனி இஸ் சேயிங் தட் ஐ வில் கிவ் யூ 25% as a return for the amount what you are going to invest. Obviously, we all are human beings. We'll go only with those people who gives more to us. So I'll go and invest my amount in the bank. I mean the shares of a company. But the risk factor is more when I'm going to invest in a company on shares. Reason is only if the company performs better, I will be getting my return. If the company doesn't performs well, it fails. That means it has got loss in a particular year, it will not get, they won't provide the returns to the shareholders. ஸோ கம்பெனி நல்லா பர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி ப்ராஃபிட் ஏர்ன் பண்ணால் மட்டும்தான் அந்த ரிட்டர்ன் அந்த ஷேர் ஹோல்டருக்கு போய் சேரும். அதுவே கம்பெனி அந்த இயரில் லாஸ் ஏர்ன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, லாஸ் சஃபர் பண்ணியிருக்காங்கன்னா 1 ரூபா கூடயும் போகாது ஷேர் ஹோல்டர்ஸுக்கு ரிட்டர்னுங்கிற பேரில். ஆனால் பேங்க்கில் அப்படி கிடையாது. Whether the bank earns profit or not, whether the bank is running better or not, or average or moderate, the promise what they are given to their customers will be as 100%. They will be providing the interest on the amount what the customers have deposited. So now we are going to see what is the return that a shareholder will get if they have invested in the company's shares, in the shares of a company. So any idea what is the return that you give to a shareholder? What is the return that we give to shareholders? Yes, ma, tell me. Hello? Tell me, Kana, what is the return that you provide to a shareholder for the amount what they have invested in the business? ஷேர்ஹோல்டருக்கு என்ன கொடுப்பீங்க ரிட்டர்னா? இந்த ரிட்டர்ன் சொல்லுங்க. இல்ல, இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்ங்கிறது வந்து இஸ் த அமௌண்ட் தட் யூ provided to the investors, that is to the depositors who have deposited in the bank. ஓகேவா? இல்லத்தக்க உங்களோடது பிஸ்னஸ் ஒரு டிபென்ச்சர்ஸை இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணவங்களுக்கு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் கொடுப்பீங்க. ஷேர் ஹோல்டர்ஸுக்கு த ரிட்டர்ன் வாட் யூ பே இஸ் இன் த ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் dividend. Okay, so dividend is a return which a shareholder will receive it for the amount invested in that respective company's share. So to understand this easily, I'll give you an easy understanding tips. Shareholder starts with the letter S and return dividend will be in the starting with the D. So SD have this as a remembrance. You might have heard about SD standard deviation in your 11th economics under statistics. Standard deviation SD ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So S stands for shareholders, D stands for the dividend. So shareholder dividend SD, easy way to understand. Got it? So the return what we provide to the shareholder is dividend. And this dividend, when I say it is predefined for a particular type of shares, whereas it is not predefined for a particular type of shares, which means now let us see the classification of shares. Okay, share types. Do you have any idea how many types of shares are there? Very good. Very good. Okay. So that is what you are going to see here. Okay. So equity shares and preference shares are called as the types of shares. Okay. So types of shares. You have got two types. Okay. They are one is equity shares and the second category is preference shares. So the one who has got the equity shares of a company are called equity shareholder, and those who are holding the preference shares of a company are called preference shareholders. This equity shares is also called as ordinary shares. Okay, they are otherwise called as ordinary shares, whereas we don't have any other name for preference shares. And the equity shares, okay, will not have any predefined rate of interest. Okay, no predefined rate of, okay, not interest, dividend, I'm sorry. Okay, so equity shares or the ordinary shares will not have any predefined rate of dividend, whereas when I talk about the preference shares, okay, they have predefined rate of dividend. So here you have it, but there you don't have it. Am I making sense to you? And I'm clear to you. And at the same time, those who are holding the equity shares, they are the real owners of the company. Okay, they are the real owners of a company. That means equity shares வச்சிருக்கிறவங்க தான் real owners of a company. Preference shares are not the real owners of the company. Okay. So preference shares வச்சிருக்கிறவங்க okay not real owners. They are not the real owners. These basic concepts you must be in a position to understand. புரியுதாமா இது வரைக்கும்? ஓகே ரைட். இப்போ நெக்ஸ்ட் ஷேர்ஸ் எப்படி இஷ்யூ பண்ணலாம்? ஓகே, ஹவ் ஆல் யூ கேன் இஷ்யூ த ஷேர்ஸ் தட் வி ஆர் கோயிங் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஓகே, இன் வாட் ஆர் த வேஸ் வி ஆர் கோயிங் டு இஷ்யூ தி ஷேர்ஸ். இந்த மீன் டைம் இது வரைக்கும் நீங்கள் வேணால் காப்பி பண்ணிக்கிறீங்களா? இதெல்லாம் யூ ஆர் டேக்கிங் த ரன்னிங் நோட்ஸ். ஓகே ஃபைன், தென் நோ இஷ்யூஸ். Stop me if I am going a little bit fast or you want me to take the notes like just ask me to stop. I'll stop it. Okay. Now let's understand issue of shares. So issue of shares patnaka you have got two types again. Okay, here you have got two types. What are they? One for cash, and the second one is for consideration other than cash. So you have only two varieties or two types, okay, in the form of issue of shares. One is for cash, and the second one is for consideration other than cash. Okay, now let's understand what is for cash and for consideration other than cash. First one, for cash. To whom you can issue this? I've been getting a can be issued only to the local public. That is what very important. Okay, for cash. That means you are issuing your company share to the local public and you're collecting the money from them. So this is the concept which we call it as for cash. So it can be issued only to the local public. That is what the concept of for shares. Now, when I'm going to issue it to the public, again I have some options, and it is respect to the payment and the mode of issue. But we'll see to that okay later. First, we'll also come to the second category. The second category is for consideration other than cash. Okay, for consideration other than cash. Okay, in this you have got three different members. Okay, so here it is not one person. In this concept, for consideration other than cash, you can issue to three different members. You can issue to three different members. And I'll also explain why you are issuing to these three different members. Do you have any idea about this word technical term called consideration? This is actually a technical term. The word consideration, probably I'll write this word alone in a different alphabet. I mean, a different color, so you understand easy. Do you have any idea about this word called consideration? It is a legal term. The word consideration is something in return. Okay, the word is something in return. This is the meaning of the word consideration. So that means you are going to return something other than cash. Normally, when you buy something from someone, you'll get the product from the person and you'll pay cash for that particular product to the other person. But instead of making the cash payment, you're going to settle it in some other way. That particular concept is what we call it as for consideration other than cash. Instead of cash, kindly consider this. Okay, so that is the concept. Now, in this concept, you have got three members, as I said. Let's see who are those three members to whom you can issue this shares on a consideration basis. The first person is vendor. Okay, the first person is your vendor. The second person to whom you can issue is promoters. The second person is promoters. And the third person to whom you can issue is underwriters. So these are the three important members whom you can see in this topic for consideration other than cash. Apart from these three, no one is involved or no one is eligible to get the shares on a consideration basis other than cash. Now, let's go by one. Why you want to give it to vendors? Okay. So the first person is vendor. With respect to vendor, again, you have two different situations. Okay. Vendor alone will have two different situations. One, okay, when you buy someone's business, so that means when business is purchased, when a business is purchased from someone, obviously the one who's going to buy the business is called as a purchaser or will call as a buyer, whereas the one who's going to sell the business we call them as vendor or the seller. So vendor is nothing but basically seller. So seller is a common term, vendor is an accounting term or legal term or commercial terms. Okay, so when the business is being purchased, you have to issue to vendor. If not, when any asset, okay, when any asset is purchased, you have to give it to vendor. Okay, so for example, let me make the example also near to this. So in case of vendor, okay, for this X limited, okay, bought or you can say purchased. If not, they'll also use the word called acquired. All these words refers to the same meaning. So X limited, bought or purchased or acquired or taken away or took. Okay, taken away, that means took a running business of Y limited for a purchase consideration of some value. Okay, rupees 5 lakhs is given to you. But just tell me, when you take away someone's business, so here the company who's taking away is X Limited, and whose company they're taking up, if you call it is Y Limited. Every business will have something called assets and liabilities, correct? So when you take away someone's business, obviously you will also take away their assets and their liabilities. Am I right? For which you have to pay the money. Okay. So here if you see, you are getting the business of Y Limited by paying some amount called 5 lakhs as a purchase consideration, and also you'll take away the assets and liabilities of that particular company. So when you are buying some business, obviously you take away the company's assets, you'll take away the company's liability also along with you. This is the first case. Okay, we'll see the problems. Okay, when we deal the problem under this category, you will come to know what needs to be done and how you have to proceed. Now you just making I'm making you to understand why you are issuing to vendor. வெண்டாருக்கு ஏன் கொடுக்கணும்? ஓகே, ரெண்டு சுச்சுவேஷன் சொன்னேன். பிஸ்னஸை பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணும்போது கொடுக்கணும், இல்லை அவங்ககிட்ட ஏதாவது அசட்டை வாங்கும் போது கொடுக்கணும்னு. இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள். எக்ஸ் லிமிட்டட்ங்கிற கம்பெனி ஒய் லிமிட்டட்ங்கிற கம்பெனி கிட்ட பிஸ்னஸை டேக் அவே பண்ணுறாங்க, இல்லை அக்வயர் பண்ணுறாங்க, பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க, இல்லாட்டினாக்க ஓகே டுக் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல, எப்படி இருந்தாலும் ஒரே மீன் தான். அப்போ யூ ஹேவ் டு மேக் தி பேமெண்ட், யூ ஹேவ் டு செட்டில் தி அமௌண்ட். அந்த பர்ச்சேஸ் கன்சிடரேஷன் அமௌண்ட்டை நீங்கள் செட்டில் பண்ணணும். அந்த செட்டில்மெண்ட் அமௌண்ட்டை நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க, இன்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் பேயிங் பை கேஷ், யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு இஷ்யூ யுவர் கம்பெனி ஷேர்ஸ். தட் இஸ் வை யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு வெண்டாஸ் த ஷேர்ஸ். Second, when any asset is purchased, okay, for this, take us this example. Okay, there is a company called ABC Limited. Okay, there is one company called ABC Limited who has recently set up a new venture, or they have recently opened a new branch in a particular state, Bangalore, let us state, okay, it is in the Karnataka state, okay. They have opened a new venture or a new outlet in a state of Karnataka. And today everything has become machine world and mechanized robotics. So they want the systems to perform the task. So for which they are given some orders to some of the leading brand, okay, creators, or like leading brand new laptops or for desktops from a famous, I would say, a merchandise like Lenovo or Dell or HP like that. So ABC Limited, okay, needs computers or laptops for the newly inaugurated or newly set up business, and they are given some quotations to a computer developers, like for example, okay, Lenovo, HP, Dell, like this. They are given to some leading brands the quotations. And among these three companies, the company ABC Limited feels that the quotation given by HP is somewhat reasonable and it is affordable by the company. So they are going with the deal. So ABC Limited says that yeah, we will have a deal and we will make you itself as a vendor to provide the required number of computers, how many laptops they want, how many desktops they wanted for the new branch. Say for example, they are ordering 1,000 pieces. Okay, so 1,000 pieces in which they say I need 800 desktop and 200 laptops. So like this, they made the orders to HP with some specifications, configuration, etc. The company have also started to agree the deal and they started to do the production and they are about to hand over the goods to ABC Limited. Now, at the time of handing over the goods, the company HP is asking for the payment. See, this is the piece I have produced, and this is all the configuration that you have asked for. This is the quotation that I gave you, and now the job has been completed. Kindly you transfer the money for the 1,000 pieces what you have ordered. Now, company is coming to a deal. So ABC Limited is making a talk with HP Limited, stating that at present I don't have sufficient cash balance with me. My company doesn't have liquid cash, but in the market, my company has a great demand and it is very famous and popular. My company shares are going at a very high price. Instead of paying you the amount in the form of cash, let me pay you the amount in the form of shares of my company. ஸோ உனக்கு நான் காசு கொடுக்கறதுக்கு பதிலாக என் கம்பெனியோட ஷேர்ஸ் அதுக்கு ஈக்குவல் தான் கொடுக்குறேன், வாங்கிக்கோங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்றது. Instead of getting the cash from me because I don't have liquid cash with me or neither in my bank account, instead of that, let me provide you the amount in the form of my company's shares. Will you be accepting that? If suppose the company HP Limited says that yes, I will, yes, I can take the deal, I'll crack the deal, then they will go with the deal. If the company neglects stating that no, I don't want the entire amount to be settled in the form of shares, I want some payment to be done in the form of cash and the remaining to be done in the form of shares. It is up to the will and wish of the company, so we can't compel the company. Suppose a company says, sorry, I won't accept shares and all. You have to make the payment to me in the full form. That is, in the fully in the form of cash only means nothing can be done. You have to settle them by cash only. So this is the concept of issuing the shares to the vendor on a consideration basis other than cash. So what happened? Initially, you have made an order. You have given some orders for laptops and desktops, and they have produced it. and they have handed over the goods to you. That means you have consumed it. You have got the acquired those goods. நீங்கள் வாங்கிட்டீங்க அந்த goods அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க. இப்போ அதுக்கு பேமெண்ட் தரணும். அப்போ அது பேமெண்ட் தரத்துக்கு பதிலாக நீங்கள் ஷேர் தரீங்க. அதுக்கு பேர் சம்திங் இன் ரிட்டர்ன். உங்களுக்கு வேணுங்கிற விஷயம் கிடைச்சிச்சு. உங்களுக்கு வேணுங்கிற விஷயம் கிடைச்சிருச்சு. இப்போ அவங்களுக்கு வேணுங்கிற விஷயத்த நீங்கள் எப்படி செட்டில் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா ஷேர் மூலிமா செட்டில் பண்ணீங்கன்னா அதுக்கு பேர் தான் கன்சிடரேஷன் அதர் தென் கேஷ். Am I making clear to you? Okay. So this is why you give it to vendors. So business purchase பண்ணும்போதும் தரலாம் இல்ல அவங்க கிட்ட ஒரு அசெட் வாங்கும்போதும் கொடுக்கலாம். Right. Now coming to promoters, the second category people. What do you mean by the word promote, or who are promoters? Whom do you think promoters are? According to you, from your viewpoint, whom do you think promoters are? What is the role? What is the responsibilities? Promotes the okay, promotes your business. Okay, so for example, your company you have started, but you have to register your company in the books of register of companies. So you have to follow some procedure. You have to okay go by some okay levels. You have to meet different authorities and get some certifications and also some documents to be signed up. All those things are there. As a owner of the business, you don't find time to do all those things. So you are just hiring a person or you are just getting the services done from some other person. The person whom we call it as promoter. The promoter will take the initiative or he takes the measures or the steps to promote your business right from registration of your business till whatever is required, okay, as per the situations and then and there. For example, until 2000 and okay 18 or something we don't have the concept of GST. So nothing was there as GST, only indirect tax was there. But all of a sudden, when GST got introduced, they imposed that every vendor should have the GST number, GST bin number. So, how to apply the GST bin number? Whom to approach? Then someone will be there to do this as a service. And without that, if you are running a business, they say from your license will get cancelled. So that means they are supporting your business then and there, time to time, when some new amendments comes in the political structure or when new okay amendments comes in the legal framework that's going to support your business continuation, so you go and seek the help of promoters, and this promoter will rendering you the services. Okay, the promoters is giving you service by registering your business or by getting you the required document done or getting it signed from the respective people. So they are offering you some service, and for this service they will collect the payment, which we can call in other ways as service charge. Okay, and here you can see basically they won't use the word service charge. This is a technical term. No, this is not a technical term. This is a colloquial term which I said. But what comes in this picture, if you ask, this is the technical term that will be used. Number one, it is called as incorporation. Okay, you'll have something called as incorporation expenses. Okay, or otherwise called as preliminary expenses. Okay, incorporation expenses, or the other one is called preliminary expenses. So the service charge I have said is just to understand you, not technically, theoretically. Okay, this is only a colloquial, okay, layman term. Okay, whereas this is the expense which takes place for promoting your business. And while promoting your business, these expenses will be taken care by those promoters, and the money you have to settle it. So instead of settling the money in the form of a liquid cash, You talk to those company, you talk to those members and make them understand, stating that I cannot issue you or I cannot pay you by cash, rather I can issue you only my company shares equivalent to the amount what I have to pay you. If the company accepts, yes, then you can go ahead. If not, no other go, you have to pay by cash only. Got the concept of why you give to promoters? Okay. Before I come to third party, okay, the third person that's called underwriters, I want to make you understand about this concept that is called subscriptions. What do you mean by term subscriptions? Any idea? Subscriptions. Any idea about subscriptions? Very good. So, in general term, we can say subscription is nothing but the public response. It is nothing but public response towards the shares of a company. ஸோ மக்களோடது ஓகே பிரதிபலிப்புன்னு சொல்லலாம் ஆர் மக்கள் என்ன மாதிரியான ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ த பப்ளிக் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் டுவர்ட்ஸ் த ஷேர்ஸ் ஆஃப் அ கம்பெனி கேன் பி கால்ட் as சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன்ஸ். ஓகே, this subscriptions, when you say, okay, how many types? If you ask, there are three types. Subscriptions எத்தனை types இருக்கு? Okay, what are they? If you ask, okay, one you call them as equal or full subscription. First category is equal or the full subscription. Second one you call them as over, sorry, let me make this over as a third one. Okay, the second one is under subscription, and the last but not the least, the third one is over subscriptions. So these are the three different types of subscriptions which we have. Let's try to understand how do you declare it as an equal subscription or a full subscription. Okay, let me give the examples for all those over here. In all these category, I'm going to use this term. Okay, so that is company issued and public response. Okay, so only then you will be able to understand the concept even more easily. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so here now company is issuing, for example, 1,000 shares. Okay, company is issuing 1,000 shares. Public is also responding for same 1,000 shares. Then that comes under the category of equal or full subscription. Is it clear to you? Okay. The second category is under subscription. Public, sorry, company is issuing same 1,000 shares for the public subscription, whereas public has responded only for 900 shares. So here it is an under subscription case. Company issue பண்ண 1,000, but company வந்திருக்கிறது public கிட்ட only for 900 shares. Okay. The next one, over subscription case. So company is issuing 1000 shares, whereas public has responding for 1500 shares. Okay, so this is a case of over subscription. Now, if it is an equal subscription or a full subscription, you need not bother about anything. You are good to go with the received amount. You can proceed further. But when it comes to under subscription, there is some basic checklist which you have to follow. Something you have to keep in your mind when case of under subscription. Okay, minimum 90 percentage of the shares issued must be subscribed, else refund the amount back. This is a checklist which you have to check in case of under subscription cases. Now, in this given example, okay, a company have issued how much? 1000. Okay, whereas company have received how much? 900. So what I am saying you is to check for minimum 90 percentage of the issued shares. So that means issued shares by the company are 1000. In 1000, what is 90 percentage? When you calculate it, 100 into 9 will give you 900. So that means you should have got 900 shares as a response from the public. If that is the case, yes, you can proceed further. Suppose the same scenario is something different. Okay, let me make it here. The company have issued for 1000 shares. Okay, company have issued for 1000 shares, whereas public has responded only for 850 shares, or even let us take the other way, not 850, 899 shares. Okay, take it in such a way, not 850 also. Public has responded only for 899 shares. So by looking at this, you know it is a under subscription case, but you should know whether it has reached the 90 percentage or not. So when you calculate what is 90 percentage of 1000, okay, so 90 percentage of the 1000 shares will be 900, but you got only 899. So there is a shortage. Okay, there is a shortage of one share. Even this is considered to be as under subscription, and you are not reached your minimum subscription 90 percentage. If that is the case, what we have mentioned here, okay, 90% of the shares issued must be subscribed, else refund. So if you got only 899 shares, then you are lagging by one share. So no other go, you have to refund the money back to your applicants. So this is the basic checklist which you have to follow with respect to under subscription cases. Whenever you find any under subscription problem, check out whether the problem is having 90 percentage of the shares issued. So 1000 ஒரு example இருக்கு 10,000 சொன்னாக்கா அப்போ 9,000 shares subscribe ஆயிருக்கணும். So according to the number of shares issued in that 90% you calculated, you should have got that many shares as a subscription from the public. If not, you can refund the money back. Am I making it clear? Okay. Now, here comes one thing. Suppose in this case, 900 shares you have received it. That means 90 percentage you have achieved. Okay, you have achieved that 90 percentage. But still, you have that 100 shares, okay, which is remaining unsubscribed. So 100 shares is remaining, okay, unsubscribed. So for this unsubscribed shares, that is for this 100 unsubscribed shares, you will take some efforts to get it subscribed. But எவ்வளோ முயற்சி எடுத்து பார்த்தாச்சு, ஒரு அடி நகரல. அதுக்கு ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் வரவே இல்லை நான் 100 ஷேர்ஸ்க்கு. ஸோ நோ ஒன் இஸ் ரெஸ்பாண்டிங் ஃபார் தோஸ் 100 ஷேர்ஸ் ஃபார் த எஃபர்ட்ஸ் வாட் எவர் தட் யூ டேக்கன் ஃப்ரம் யோர் எண்ட். So now what you do is you are just going and approaching a person called as underwriter. Okay, so in order to make this 100 shares sold out in the market, for making this 100 shares sold out, you go and approach a person called as underwriter. Okay, so underwriter is basically a person. Okay, underwriter is basically a person who takes up the responsibility. Okay, who is taking up the responsibility that I am there to sell out those 100 shares. So don't worry அப்படின்னு சொல்லி உங்களுக்கு ஒரு கான்ஃபிடன்ஸை பில்ட் பண்ணி கொடுப்பார். Okay, so the underwriters are basically an individual, this a body corporate, or they are basically a company who will take up the responsibility for the unsubscribed shares by the public. And for this, the underwriters will be charging something called as commission. ஸோ அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ்ங்கிறவர் வந்து இந்த சர்வீஸ் இவரும் என்ன பண்றாரு, சர்வீஸ் ப்ரொவைட் பண்றாரு. ஓகே, இந்த சர்வீஸுக்கு அவர் என்ன கலெக்ட் பண்றாரு, கமிஷன் கலெக்ட் பண்றாரு. ஓகே, he is charging commission. This commission we call it as underwriters commission. Okay, what is the name of the commission? Very good. Okay, so this is the process which takes place only if the company undergoes under subscription. ஸோ அண்டர் சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் கேஸில் தான் இந்த அண்டர் ரைட்டர்ஸுங்கிறவங்களுக்கு ரோல்ஸே வருது. அவங்களுக்கு அப்போ தான் வந்து அந்த ப்ளே, அவங்களுக்கு கேரக்டரில் அவங்களுக்கு கேம் பிளேக்கே அப்போ தான் வந்து சுச்சுவேஷன் அரைஸ் ஆகுது. ஸோ அப்போ 90% ரீச் ஆயிருக்காங்களா இல்லையான்னு செக் பண்ண வேண்டியது ஃபஸ்ட்டு கண்டிஷன். 90% ரீச் ஆகிட்டாங்கன்னா யூ கேன் ப்ரொசீட் வித் த ப்ராப்ளம், நோ இஷ்யூஸ். 90% ரீச் ஆகுனா ரீஃபண்ட் பண்ணிடணும். ஸோ அப்போ ரிமைனிங் 10% அந்த சப்ஸ்கிரைப் ஆகாமல் இருக்கிற ஷேர்ஸை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ண வைக்கிறதுக்கு தான் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் அண்ட் அப்ரோச்சிங் தி அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ். அண்ட் அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ் வில் டேக் அப் த ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி ஃபார் தோஸ் unsubscribed shares. In return, they charge commission for the service. That commission we call it as underwriters commission. And now comes, okay, why do you give it to the third person called underwriters? ஸோ நம்ம இங்கே பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, 3 பேருக்கு பார்த்தோம். வெண்டாருக்கு ஏன் கொடுக்குறோன்னு பார்த்தோம், ப்ரொமோட்டர்ஸ்க்கு ஏன் கொடுக்குறோன்னு பார்த்தோம், அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ்க்கு ஏன் கொடுக்குறோங்கிற ரீசன் இப்போ உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சிருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ் தான் யாருங்கிறதும் உனக்கு சொல்லியாச்சு, அண்ட் அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ்க்கு ஏன் கொடுக்குறோங்கிற ரீசனும் இப்போ உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சிருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். புரிஞ்சிருக்கா? ரைட். ஸோ தட் வில் டிஸ்கஸ் இட் ஹியர் இந்த சைட் லைன்ஸ். ஓகே, so underwriters, appo they are the one who takes the responsibility for those unsubscribed shares. So in return they charge commission, and this commission is called as underwriters commission. Okay, so this is the concept. They charge commission called underwriters commission. அப்போ இந்த அண்டர்ரைட்டர்ஸ் கமிஷனை நீங்கள் கேஷாக பே பண்ணலாம். அப்படி கேஷ் பே பண்ணுறதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு சஃபிஷியன்ட் கேஷ் பேலன்ஸ் இல்லாதுன்னா no other go, you have to make the payment by issuing shares. பட் அதை வந்து அந்த அண்டர்ரைட்டர் கமிஷன் வாங்கக்கூடிய கம்பெனி எந்த கம்பெனி நீங்கள் அப்ரோச் பண்ணீங்களோ அந்த unsubscribed ஷேர்ஸை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணி கொடுக்கறதுக்கு அந்த கம்பெனி அதை அக்செப்ட் பண்ணணும். ஓகே, நாங்கள் ஷேர்ஸை வாங்கிக்கிறோம் அப்படின்ட்டு. அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா பிரச்சனை இல்லை. பண்ணலனா யூ ஹேவ் ப்ராப்ளம். யூ ஹேவ் டு பே ஒன்லி பை கேஷ். நோ அதர் கோ. கிளியரா? ஓகே. இப்போ இந்த பேமெண்ட்ல பார்க்கும்போது நம்ம இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆஃப் கேஷ் யூ ஆர் பேயிங் ஷேர்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். பட் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் எல்லா சுச்சுவேஷன்லையும் நமக்கு வந்து ஃபுல் பேமெண்ட், என்டையர் பேமெண்ட் நம்ம ஷேராலேயே பே பண்ணிடலாம்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. ஓகே. அப்போ அந்த பேமெண்ட் காம்பினேஷன் எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தினாக்க, it can be in the form of shares to some extent, it can be in the form of cash, it can be in the form of check the payment, and it can also be in the form of bill of exchange. For example, I'm just giving you an example. Okay. X Limited purchase the running business of Y Limited for a sum of rupees 8 lakhs, along with following assets and liabilities. Okay. So now in this, if you see, they have said assets, example, whatever you have taken. Okay. In assets category, you have got building, furniture, stock. All this will be for a particular value. Say for example, building, you have taken up for 10 lakhs, furniture for 4 lakhs, and stock you have taken for 2 lakhs. And in the liability category, they mentioned you creditas. So creditas you have taken for an amount of rupees 2 lakhs. Then there is something called as outstanding expenses, which is for rupees, okay, 7 lakhs. Now these are the information they said, and then they are giving you the payment. Okay, how it has been settled. The payment is made as follows: rupees 2 lakhs by cash. Okay, that means which payment they are talking about. If you ask, the amount what is mentioned here, 8 lakh rupees is mentioned. No, in the 8 lakhs தான் இங்க நம்ம இப்போ எப்படி பே பண்றீங்கிற பிரேக்கப் தரும். Okay, rupees 2 lakh by cash. The how much will be the remaining amount? If 2 lakh has been paid, means how much will be the remaining amount? Out of 8, 2 is paid off. What is the remaining balance? How much ma? Okay. See, out of 8 lakh rupees, okay, you are making a payment of 2 lakhs by cash. What is the remaining balance? Very good. So again, they are giving a breakup. Okay, rupees 1 lakh 50,000 by check, and then they are giving you an information rupees 50,000 by accepting bills of exchange, and balance by issuing equity shares of rupees 100 each. Okay, and balance by issuing equity shares of rupees 100 each அப்படின்னு சொல்லி they given the information. Now you tell me the payment is made as follows. He said that is what is the amount of payment you have to pay 8 lakhs, right? The amount to be paid is 8 lakhs. இந்த 8 lakhs இங்க 2 lakh போயாச்சு, அப்போ remaining 6 lakhs. ஓகே, இங்க ஒரு 1,50,000 வந்துருச்சு பை செக். அப்போ எவ்வளோ பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கும்? 6 lakhs 1,50,000 போயிடுச்சுன்னா what will be the balance? In 6 lakhs 1,50,000 is gone away. What is the remaining balance? Hello? Out of 6 lakhs 1,50,000 is gone away. What is the remaining balance? 45, yeah. Out of 6 lakhs 1,50,000 is gone away. 4,50,000. ஓகே, அது செக் மூலியமா பே பண்றீங்க. அடுத்த பட்னாக்க ஒரு 50,000 ருபீஸ் நீங்க பில் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்சில் பே பண்றீங்க. அப்போ 4,50,000 ஒரு 50,000 போயிடுச்சு பில் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்சுங்கிற பேர்ல. அப்போ பேலன்ஸ் எவ்வளவு இருக்கும்? Very good. Apo, this is how you have to understand the question. Okay, so total payment is 8 lakh, 2 lakh rupees check cash, or 1,50,000 check, 50,000 bill of exchange. அப்போ இங்கே பேலன்ஸுங்கிற இடத்துல என்ன அமௌண்ட்னா இப்படி தான் நீங்கள் அந்த பேலன்ஸை டிரைவ் பண்ணுவீங்க. ஸோ அப்போ இந்த கேஸ் எவ்வளோ இருக்குது பேலன்ஸு? ருபீஸ் 4 lakhs. ஓகே, இப்போ இந்த 4 lakh rupees நீங்கள் பே பண்ணுறதுக்கு யூ ஹேவ் டு இஷ்யூ த ஷேர்ஸ். ஓகேவா? பாருங்க நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி எல்லா கேஸ்லயுமே வந்து ஃபுல் அமௌண்ட். இப்போ இந்த கேஸ் ஃபுல் அமௌண்ட் பார்த்தா 8 lakhs. இந்த 8 lakhsமே அவன் வந்து ஷேர்ஸ்ல வாங்கல. இந்த 8 lakh rupeesல கேஷா வாங்குறான், செக்கா வாங்குறான், பில் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் கொஞ்சம் டைம் பீரியடும் கொடுக்குறான். இதெல்லாம் பண்ண போக ரிமைனிங் பேலன்ஸ் தான் அவன் என்ன பண்றான்? ஹீஸ் கெட்டிங் இன் த ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் ஷேர்ஸ். Okay, so he's not getting the entire amount in the form of shares. He's getting only a particular payment in the form of shares. The remaining amount is getting in the form of cash, check, and bill of exchange. Clear? Okay. Now, and the remaining 4 lakhs is settled பண்றதுக்கு they said you are issuing equity shares of rupees 100 each. That means 100 rupees is nothing but this is called your face value. Okay, this is called as a face value. Now in the mari case you have to understand how many shares you have to bring it in the market, or how many shares a company has to bring in order to settle that 4 lakh rupees. For that, this is the formula. Kindly make a note of the formula. Number of shares to be issued is equal to amount payable to சொல்லலாம், இல்ல amount outstanding னு சொல்லலாம். Okay, amount payable இல்ல amount outstanding divided by issue price. Okay, divided by issue price. இப்போ இங்க amount payable இல்ல outstanding பார்த்தா எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? நமக்கு 4 lakhs பே பண்றதுக்கு இருக்கு. So அப்போ 4 lakhs divided by issue price. நீங்க என்ன சொல்லிருக்கீங்க? The remaining balance. So balance 4 lakhs you're going to settle it by issuing equity shares of rupees 100 each. அப்போ என்ன issue price? 100 rupees is the issue price. So 4 lakhs divided by 100. Cancel out the common zeros. How much will be left over? What is the leftover balance? Hello? Hello? Aishwarya? Sorry, Avirami? Very good. So the leftover balance will be 4,000 shares. அப்போனா கம்பெனி அந்த 4 lakh ருபீஸை ஈடு கட்டணும்னா அந்த பேமெண்ட்டை செட்டில் பண்ணணும்னா கம்பெனி 4,000 ஷேர்ஸை இறக்கணும். என்ன விலைக்கு? ஒரு ஷேர் வேல்யூ 100 rupees வச்சு அவங்க இறக்கினானா 4,000 ஷேர்ஸை இஷ்யூ பண்ணாலே போதும், 4 lakh ருபீஸை செட்டில் பண்ண முடியும். புரிஞ்சுதா? ஓகே. இப்போ இந்த கான்செப்ட் நம்ம லேர்ன் பண்ணும்போது we are coming across something called as face value. Okay, we are coming across something called as a face value, and we are coming across something called as issue price. Let us learn about these two now. Okay, because face value na என்னன்னு தெரியணும், issue price na என்னன்னு தெரியணும், and shares எப்படிலாம் issue பண்ணலாங்கிறது தெரியணும். Okay, now coming to face value. This is nothing but value of one share, or in other way we say as cost price, cost price of one share of a company. So this is what the easy way of understanding. Face value is nothing but the value of one share of a company, or the cost price of one share of a company. ஒரு ஷேருக்கான மதிப்பு, அந்த கம்பெனில ஒரு ஷேருக்கு இவ்வளவுதான் மதிப்பு. அப்போ that is what they call it as face value. Able to understand? Okay. Now there is something called as issue price. Issue price. Okay. அப்போ இந்த issue price இதை நான் ரெண்டா பிரிக்கிறேன். Okay. இது ஒரே term தான், but I just want you to understand by how it works upon. Okay. Okay. So issue ಅಂಬತ್ನಕ you have got two types. You can issue in two types. One at par, and here at premium. So initially, shares can be issued at par and at a premium. Okay. So issue price issue பத்தி discuss பண்ணுவோம். அப்ப price பத்தி discuss பண்ணுவோம். Then we will see what is the issue price is all about. So issue அப்படின்னா there are two types of issue. One, the shares can be issued at par, and the other one is shares can be issued at a premium. Okay. Par அப்படின்னு சொல்லி எனக்கு exam. Okay, okay, sorry. If company issues the shares at its face value itself, okay, then we call them as issue of shares at par. If company issues the shares at its face value itself, then that is a situation of issue of shares at par. Okay, so you will have two different terms, face value and issue price. In particular, you are getting a term called face value, you are getting here issue. Okay, so that means if your face value is equal to your issue price, then that is at par. Got it? So if the issue price is exactly equal to your face value, or face value is exactly equal to issue price, we call them as issue at par. Okay. Now come to the second segment called issue at premium. Okay. If company issues their shares at a greater price, so here if you see, if company issues their shares at a greater price than its face value, it is called issue of shares at premium. Okay, for example, face value rupees 100. You're issuing at premium. Okay, premium value கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. Premium on 2 rupees. அப்போ issue price will be rupees 12. எப்படி face value rupees 10 plus premium rupees 2. Adding these two, you will get 12. Okay, so this is what we say. Okay, issue price, the issue and price, we are quoting some price. Okay, so this if you add together, you'll get your issue price. Okay, so you are issuing at par means then you won't have any additional price. If you issue at premium, then you'll have some additional value, that if you club with this, you'll get your issue price. So face value is value of one share, whereas issue price is nothing but if you issue at premium, you'll have some additional value to the original face value. If you issue at par, you won't have any additional value to the issued value. Able to understand? Okay. And one thing which you have to note down is premium can be given either in the form of values or in the form of percentage. இங்கே இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொஸ்டின்லேயே ஓகே ப்ரீமியம் வேல்யூ பார்த்தாக்க ருபீஸ் 2 அப்படி கொடுக்கலாம். இல்லையா பர்சன்டேஜாக இருக்காக்க 10% ப்ரீமியம் அப்படி கொடுத்துருவாங்க. இப்போ வேல்யூவாக இருந்தால் யூ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் எனி காம்ப்ளெக்சிட்டி, இட் இஸ் ஈஸி. ப்ரீமியம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லினாக்காலும் யூ ஹேவ் டு டிரைவ் த வேல்யூ. If it is given in the form of percentage, you have to derive the amount of premium as follows. Face value into the given rate of percentage, rate by 100. Example, face value given as rupees 100 and okay, issued at premium they said. Okay, premium is given as 5 percentage. Example, premium is 5 percentage. So here how to derive the value of premium is quite simple. 100 rupees face value into 5 percentage, so 5 by 100, common zeros, that is common value. If you cancel it, okay, you will be getting rupees 5. So that means, therefore, issue price, okay, 1 minute, but just be on. So issue price, if you want to calculate, so issue price will be rupees 105. How come? Face value rupees 100 plus premium, the value rupees 5. Adding these two, you'll get issue price as 105. Can you able to understand the concepts? Up to this you have any difficulty? Okay, okay. So, as of now, we have discussed so far today what are the concepts is, what is a share, what is a share capital, what are types of shares we have got it, and who's a shareholder is all about, and how you can issue the shares, and what is a subscription, what is a face value, and what is meant by premium, and how the premium can be calculated when the value is given directly, and how to calculate the premium when it is not given directly. What do you mean by a term called consideration? And to how many members you can issue the shares on a consideration other than cash, and types of issues. Okay, two types, for cash and for consideration. Okay, and what is a equity share is otherwise called as, and preference shares is also known as. So these are the segments we discuss, and what is the return that you pay to a dividend, is a return you pay to the shareholders. So these are the concepts that we have discussed so far. So any doubt up to this level? No, right? Okay. Now let me make you to understand one more concept. Okay, so you also understood you can issue at par, you can issue at premium. Now, payment. Okay, you're issuing shares for what purpose? To collect the required amount of capital from the public. So public கிட்டேருந்து நம்ம money collect பண்ண போறோம் capital, அந்த capital வச்சு தான் நம்ம business start பண்ண போறோம். So to pull up the capital, we need to go for issue of shares. Company is going for issue of shares, one need to collect the capital. ஓகே, அப்போ அந்த பேமெண்ட் வந்தாதான் அவங்களுக்கு அந்த கேபிட்டல் அமௌண்ட் வந்ததுன்னு அர்த்தம். தட் மீன்ஸ் ஒன்லி இஃப் த பப்ளிக் மேக் த பேமெண்ட், the company will get the required amount of capital. If the company is not able to get the required amount of capital, that ensures that the payment has not been done by the public. Okay, from the public side, the payment has not been initiated. This is the meaning of it. So now let us see how the payment has been done. Okay, this I'm making you to understand the name as mode of payment. You have got two types in this. One, it is called as lump sum, and the second one we call them as installment. So lump sum and installment, these are two different modes or two different types by which the company can collect the required amount of capital from the public. Okay, so first let's understand the first method called lump sum. So lump sum is nothing but one single shot. Okay, in one single shot, entire face value. Okay, in one single shot, entire face value of share will be collected if issued at par. Ilya, in one single shot, entire issue price of shares will be collected. This will be apt for both at par and at premium. ஸோ அப்போ உங்களுக்கு ஒரு சிங்கிள் ஷாட்லேயே if you're going to collect the entire face value or the entire issue price, then that method we call as lump sum method. Okay, so mode of the method we have got two methods. So there is lump sum method, or we call them as installment method. Now, how to understand whether this comes under lump sum method or installment method? For lump sum method, I'll give you a clue. You will find this word in the sentence. Entire amount payable along with application. Entire amount payable along with application. If you have like this a word, then it is a clear cut indicator that the method is lump sum method. Is it clear to you? Okay. Next concept, in 2 minutes we'll complete off. Okay. Installment method. The second category is installment method. Payment will be made in installments. Payment will be made in installments. Payment here is referring to the issue price. Okay, the price what they are quoted. Okay, so here the payment, what I mean to say is the face value, or if they are issuing at premium means the issue price. So the price of the share will be made in installments. So here how to understand whether it is installment method is, you will have these split ups. That is, for example, face value is given as rupees 100. This 100 rupees will be broke down in such a way that application rupees 25, allotment rupees 15, first call, okay, rupees 25, second call rupees, how much you can have it of, 20, okay. So how much altogether you have received as of now? 25 plus 15 gives you 40. 40 plus 20 will give you 60. 60 plus 25 will give you 85. The last 15 rupees is there. So that you can transfer it to third and final call rupees 15. So if suppose the face value of your share is being divided under each of these categories, application, allotment, calls, then it comes under the category of installments. Okay, and one important thing to be understood now is about the calls. Okay, minimum one call, maximum a company can make three calls. So this is the limits with respect to calls. So we call this as call limits. of a company. A company can make minimum one call and a maximum of three calls. Within this range of one to three, they may have one call itself as a first and final call, or they may go to the second level and make it a second and final call, or they may go to the third level and make it a third and final call. It depends, right? Okay, so I'm just stopping today's session at this point of time. Okay, as it is already 7:03, it's going to be 7:05. Okay, so we'll discuss the other segment of the share capital where we have few more concepts theoretically to be discussed. Once you are clear with that, then we'll move on to framing the journal entries, and then we'll move on to the problems. And of course, one most important thing to be understood is the preparation of balance sheet and notes to account. That is very, very important when it comes to a share capital units. So with this, I'm stopping today's session. You can just post your feedback about the class, how you felt. Was it informative? Was it useful? Was it were you able to understand? And am I very slow, or am I able to reach you, or am I very fast? You can just give your feedbacks. Okay. Hello. Yeah, I just want your feedback, Ma. Like, how do you felt the session was, and were you able to understand or not, and were all your doubts, whatever you had so far, got cleared, resolved, and anything that you want to be done from my end, you can get it clarified. Okay. So with this, we'll stop this session. Thank you so much. Okay, ma'am. Yeah, we'll meet today evening around probably 9 o'clock will be time, because before that I have my private classes. So 9 o'clock to 10:30 we'll probably have one more schedule. So we'll have on regular basis two schedules. Okay, so at the earliest we complete the share unit and the debenture units, then we can move on to the other concepts. Right? Okay, my friend. Thank you.